And we're trying to protect black and brown communities by protecting the criminals. I'm like, do you have any idea how racist you sound?
Yeah.
Okay. The real way that you protect black and brown communities and working class people is.
I don't think a lot of Democrats are civil. I don't think Joe Biden calling Republican voters garbage is civil. I don't think Kamala Harris calling Trump a fascist is civil. And to me, that's not even politics, that's just name calling.
Hello, everybody. We got Cenk Uygur on Trigonometry podcast with those two racist, fascist idiots. Let's get right into it. They talk about both how to help the black and brown community and fascism, and I'm going to tell you how they are both racism and fascism, they're cousins.
Far left told us, no, crime is imaginary, and Democratic voters love the idea of crime rising. It's no big deal, right? Right. And plus, it doesn't even exist. So we're arguing over nothing because
there is no crime, but if there is, it's good.
Yeah. And then we're trying to protect black and brown communities by protecting the criminals. I'm like, do you have any idea how racist you sound?
Yeah.
Okay. The real way that you protect black and brown communities and working class people is by putting criminals in jail. Okay. Yep. So in California, they took felons.
Guys, this is pretty much the end of that segment. He's just going to go into laws and stuff, but I think that's the stupidest thing I've ever heard. No one on the left believes that there's no crime being committed or that crime should be overlooked. That's not what's happening. But when you just police more and more, you're not fixing the problem. Guys, let me give you a simple analogy. If a pipe breaks, right, the outcome of that is that you have to mop the floor. But is that all you do? As the thing keeps leaking. No, you fix the goddamn pipe. You don't just keep mopping the floor over and over. And on top of that, you don't just get more people to keep mopping the floors. You fix the source of the issue. You don't help black and brown communities by putting more and more policing there. We saw what that happens. That results into stop and frisk, outright racism and abuse. What you do is you de-incentivize crime. The way you do that is that you put more money into these communities, right? If there was better job opportunities that paid more, if there was better teachers at schools, not to say that there's bad teachers, but imagine they were getting paid well. Imagine if there was more recreation centers where kids to go to. Again, imagine if companies around the area, so-called bad areas, were paying better. Guys, I know how this is. I grew up in the Bronx, black and brown community. There was no good paying jobs. Even the bad paying jobs, I couldn't get one of those jobs as a kid or as someone in high school. Like, you have to de-incentivize it. These people are struggling. You take money out of any community, they're going to commit crimes. Go to the poorest communities that are white in the country and tell me that there's no crime there. Are you kidding me? Like, guys, let me know if I'm going crazy. It's not that hard to fix. But let's get to this other segment. This one was really short, but this next segment is about fascism. And guys, you have to make it a simple and direct explanation to these idiots that still try to say Trump is not a fascist or he's not a racist. These guys are just insane. Take a look at this. One more thing that I want to mention on the previous segment. That's what things like affirmative action, DEI was supposed to do. But then they attack it, right? It was supposed to give people a chance that didn't have a chance at better paying job and better opportunities before, even though they were completely qualified, education, everything. Right? So when I put that question to them, like, hey, why not we fund them more? What they're going to say is, oh, you're just pushing your woke ideology. Oh, that's anti-racism. That means that we're, as taxpayers, are paying for another, for black communities. So we're getting punished for them. This is what they'll do. There's just no winning. Do you guys care about crime or not? If you guys care about crime and you want to fix this in the country, what do you want to do? You have to fund these communities. You have to create opportunities. But guys, let's get to this next segment. You got to hear what this moron says about Democrats and the people on the left civility. We're not the civil ones. Check this out.
There's an interesting point you made about the civility issue that I'd like to push back on, Cenk, because I don't think a lot of Democrats are civil. I don't think Joe Biden calling Republican voters garbage is civil. I don't think Kamala Harris calling Trump a fascist is civil. And to me, that's not even politics. That's just name calling. Those are the things that you do when you don't actually have any ideas and you've lost the argument.
Yeah, I totally disagree with you.
It's a
Guys, they're about to get into a commercial. We're going to skip over this. But could you imagine what he's saying? That we're doing the name calling. Trump started off his campaign talking about, on the debate stage, about immigrants eating cats and dogs. He started off his campaign saying Kamala isn't really black. Like, are you effing kidding me? In 2016, the Mexicans are rapists. Are you kidding me? He's the one that's using these words. And then we call it out and we call him, guys, this is racist to say that. Or when he says fascistic things, a shooting squad to shoot Liz Cheney or shoot through reporters. And we call these things as fascistic, right? It's authoritarian. When anything of opposition, you have this visceral, attack towards it. This is why you're called these things. Like, this is insane. It's like we're in a twilight zone, guys. Am I going nuts here? They're the civil ones. But let's skip over this dumbass commercial of his. Cenk, he's been making this slight move to the quote-unquote middle or even to the right, along with Anna Kasparian, and I'm not liking it, but we'll see where that goes. And I just don't think he's making his argument good enough. These idiots always try to act like they don't understand racism or fascism. Like, you literally have to enslave someone to be finally called a racist. You have to actually take over media in order to finally be called fascist or something like that. Like, these guys are insane.
They are to their own base. They are to people like me who run against them. New York Times, when I ran, said I was anti-Muslim. I'm Muslim. Never clarified it. Okay, and based on a joke, etc. I mean, they were vicious.
But that is vicious, because what they're saying is that you're a bigot and you're a racist. That is a smear on your character, which is completely baseless. That's reputation destruction, Cenk. Let's be honest about that.
No, I know. I explain this on the show all the time. In the old days, the system would do literal assassinations, right? You cause too much.
Like, if I was sitting there where Cenk was sitting, I would stop him right there. Like, okay, before I continue, is it racist to do this? Right? And make it easier, make it hard for them at first. Is it racist to say this is a floating island of garbage? No, it was a joke. Okay. Is it racist to tell 4 women of color to go back to their country? Okay, no. At what point is it racist? Make them define it for you. What is racist then? Was it racist when Trump denied renting to black people in the 80s or 90s, whenever it was? Like, you have to keep giving them points. Corner these fucking people. These two bigots. They're just much sneakier about it. Guys, they're no different. To me, they're just no different than the outright racist Nick Fuentes and Charlie Kirk. They're just sneakier about it.
Trouble, Fred Hampton, Martin Luther King, maybe the Kennedys, etc. And they're going to do a literal assassination. These days, they don't need to. They came up with a much better idea: character assassination. Okay, when you assassinate someone literally, it makes them a martyr and makes their cause stronger, not weaker. When you assassinate their character, it drags down their cause with them. So character assassination keeps your hands clean and does bigger damage to the cause. So the machine turned and does character assassinations. So in that way, I agree with you, brother. It is vicious in that way. And if you read that New York Times article, they imply that bestiality.
Why you call him a fucking brother? Corner these motherfuckers. Corner them into admitting that Trump is a racist. If they can't understand fascism, and this is such a obtuse and so, questionable ideology for them, racism is not that hard to understand. Put it to them that way, and then you can go right into fascism, because they're not that far apart. Guys, inherently, if you're a fascist, you're likely a racist. Hitler and the Jews, right?
Is part of my legislative agenda.
What?
Insanity. I mean, the degree to which they lied about me was unreal, to the point where there was a section when they said that I brought on David Duke, the Grand Wizard of the KKK, and I agreed with him that he wasn't racist. If you watch the interview, I call him a racist, an anti-Semite, a bigot, an idiot, etc. Right? You see, I'm not shy, right?
But aren't you just making Francis' point for him?
I am. I'm saying this is the part that I agree with.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
But the part I don't agree with is when it comes to Republicans, historically, they have been put in soft. Why? Because they secretly agree with them. Mitch McConnell and Joe Biden has made every dirty deal in this country for the last 40 years. He loves Mitch McConnell more than he loves any Democrat. Okay, so they're used to and culturally gotten used to civility, status quo is great. Keep the powerful what it is, etc. They began to change with Trump. They did the character assassination. That's fair. Okay, but the problem is that Trump makes it so easy for.
They did the character assassination on Trump. Are you fucking kidding me, dude? Like, there is no character assassination when you call out the bigoted statements. That's not character assassination.
That, right? The garbage comment is mainly him being senile. Like, so I call him out when he does dumb things, but that one was just, he's like, Puerto Rico, garbage, right? Like, that's why his brain's falling out. You can't, so that's not, and guys, though, now let me bring it back to you. You, the Republican side, cannot possibly.
Wait,
Yeah.
you can't. It's not you.
Sorry.
So just to get this clear for anyone who's watching who's not familiar with our show, we are neither MAGA nor left. We are disaffected people who were on the left in the UK. In this election, given the choice available, I think we probably would have voted for Trump if we were American citizens, which we are
Probably. Are you effing kidding me? Probably.
not, right? But really, we're interested in people from both sides and exploring their perspectives. So
Okay.
this isn't a Republicans arguing with a Democrat conversation.
No, I'm totally with you, and that's great. So when I say you in this case, I mean, let's say Trump supporters.
Yeah.
Okay. So they say, oh, can you believe the Democrats are being uncivil to us? Oh, come on, guys. Trump has said every terrible thing in the world. I mean, Trump has called Kamala Harris fascist, all Democrats fascist, and socialist and Marxist and communist and comrade and scum and poisoning the blood of our country and every terrible thing in the world. And like I told you, I don't mind that much, right? Especially when he breaks Republicans on his own side to get things done, right? So I'm not that guy. But if you're a Trump supporter, you are.
I'm sorry, but you don't mind that much that he uses those words? And this is what I mean, guy. He's a multi-millionaire. And him honestly looking like that, he's more accepted by the white community than I would or a black person would. These people are so detached. I care. I care that he calls people of color scum, that he calls them not black, and he conveniently left that out. Why is he leaving out all the racist parts? The cats eating the dog stuff. I mean, maybe he'll mention it now. But like, you have to put that question to them. Why is he saying these things? And why does he think, more importantly, that it's going to work with his base? And have forced them corner into essentially not answering the question or admitting that, yes, racism is prominent on the right wing, as Vivek Ramaswamy was so shocked to find out.
Not allowed to catch feelings about bad words. Like, because that hypocrisy breaks all hypocrisy records. And if you can't see that, you're in a bubble. If you think Donald Trump's a fluffy, nice guy who deserves civility, you're not on this planet.
I think what you're saying is in part true, but I also think your criticisms of somebody have to be accurate. The term fascist is very, very loaded.
No, it's accurate.
And okay, why do you think he's a fascist?
So-
What's your definition of fascist?
fascism.
Let's do that first.
Yeah.
So, look, guys, all of these words suck.
Guys, I would stop it there and say, how about fascism? All right, it's a such a odd ideology to understand. How about racism? Did he use racism in his campaign? Force these idiots to be on their own show that millions of people are watching to say, nope, none of the things that he said were racist. Force them, corner them into that. Because then maybe some of their viewers, some of these MAGA or even just Republican centrist people will see this as, wait a second. If none of those things are racism, what is then? Maybe they'll start questioning what these idiots are telling them.
They get loaded up with what people, their own beliefs and what they mean, right? And they've lost all meaning. So communism has a meaning. Communism is no private property, state runs everything, central planning, etc. Capitalism has a meaning, free markets, etc. Right? Socialism and fascism have almost no meaning. Socialism ranges from the Swedish system, which is perfectly lovely, creates IKEA and Swedish meatballs and takes care of its own citizens, and the people are very happy, to sometimes North Korea is called socialist. Well, North Korea and Norway couldn't be more different. They can't both be socialist. So that one gets loaded up with, if you're on the right, you're just saying everything evil is socialist. It's nonsense, right? So, okay, finally we get to, and by the way, the most important word is the one that almost never gets used, which is corporatist. So the great majority of the American political system is corporatist, and they serve corporate donors. And by the way, that is not capitalism. It destroys free markets.
Agreed.
So now, when you get to fascist, why do I call Trump that? Because, not because, oh, I don't like him and he's mean. When he lost the election, and he most definitely lost the election, he then decided, I don't give a damn. I don't care about democracy. I don't care about the Constitution. I care about me. So he'd been saying all along, oh, I love these dictators, Xi Jinping, Kim Jong-un.
Guys, I think I'm going to end it there. I remember seeing the rest of this, and he just goes on to explain how Trump wouldn't accept the results of the election after he got caught, and they told him that he lost. Everyone told him, he still went on with it. And these two idiots were saying, well, no, he actually did end up giving it back. Like, and then now we have this guy in office, and are we sure out there that he's not going, that he would just relinquish it fine, and he's not going to try to help? If not, step down. If not, at minimum, try to cheat for the right-wing presidential nominee, whether it's J.D. Vance, Vivek, whoever the hell it is. It's not going to be Vivek. We all know it's not going to be that. Right-wing is not going to, MAGA voters are not going to vote for Vivek. He's found out that much. But guys, I'm going to leave it there. Please leave a comment. I like reading them. I'll try to get back to as much as I can. And thank you for watching.